Well, all right, good day to you. This is day number 2 on the video, and second video. And what I'm going to talk about today to you young fellas and young ladies is this. Our society today is what it is. Now, I know that tattoos and piercings, you know, it's cool in society today. I mean, look at me, all the way up, okay? But if you'll notice, it stops here. Now, I can wear a long sleeve shirt and it comes to here. You getting my drift? You know, we talked earlier on the other video about your circle and the people you hang around with. And, you know, you can fit into both worlds. But, you know, I can tell you a little story about myself. I worked in the finance business for over 13 years and moved up and became a district manager. And I've always been into motorcycles. Started riding when I was 6 years old. And finally got to a position where I could afford a Harley-Davidson motorcycle. And it was about the same time that I started losing this up here. And I wasn't going to walk around with a comb over. Wasn't going to go around looking like I had a Ronald McDonald starter kit going with the little thing around here. So I decided to go ahead and shave my head. Now, granted, I did it before it was cool. It was not like it is today. Everybody going around, especially bikers, have shaved heads. And I showed up to work, and my regional manager says, "Whoa, what did you do?" And I said, "Well, what does it look like I did?" And he's like, "That's not acceptable in the corporate world." Well, I was like, "I'm sorry, I'm not going to walk around looking like, you know, Elmer Fudd with half a head of hair." So I went ahead and shaved it. And we're talking about, this was like in the 90s. And so then I decided that I wanted to get my ear pierced. And I got the little bitty gold stud. And it was the one that you get, you know, when you have to keep turning it, you first get your ear pierced. And I went in to a manager's meeting, and I was the district manager, and my regional manager was there. And he had already scolded me for shaving my head. And then I rode my Harley to work one day, and he told me that was not accepted in the corporate world. And I was like, you know, to me it showed a sign of success. If my people worked hard, they could afford an expensive toy like this. And to me, I figured, you know, this was motivation for them to work harder to get where I was at. Well, corporate America did not see it that way. Then I go to this manager's meeting, and I always dressed for success, okay? My parents taught me at a young age, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So if you're going to be in the corporate world, you always dress to the nines, just always. So I show up to the meeting, and I'm in about probably, I mean, me being a big guy with a small waist, I have to have all my suits tailored. I probably had $450, $500 in my suit, $100 tie, $200 shoes, you know, $150 shirt. And all the managers, they show up and they're in khakis and Oxford shirts, and they had been out to clubs that night, and it looked like they just came straight to the meeting from the club and showed up all wrinkled and nasty and their hair jacked up. And I was groomed. I was very well groomed. And I walked into the meeting, and he saw the little earring dot in my ear, and he asked me, could he speak to me outside? And I said, yeah, that's fine, let's go. So we go out, and he tells me to take my earring out. And as I stated, it's the little bitty stud that they pierce your ears with. And I was like, why? He said, well, that's just not accepted in the corporate world. And I was like, well, I'm not taking it out. I said, listen, I run the #1 district. I ran the #1 district for almost 13 years. I may have slid to second place 3 times in the whole time I was there. I said, I make you more money than any manager, and yet you're constantly giving me crap about my appearance and not fitting into corporate America. Well, I'm not college educated. I worked my ass off to get where I was at. I started out repoing cars and even repoing mobile homes and stuff to get where I was at. And I worked hard for it, but I'd had enough. And I felt he was probably right. I did not fit into corporate America. But he did me the biggest favor he could have ever done, because that's when I became self-employed. And I've been self-employed for about 25 years. And the reason I'm telling you guys this is I do not want you to think that you can go and get the little teardrop tattoo here, get a neck tattoo here, get any kind of tattoos on your hands, because you never know where your life's going to take you. You cannot even get in the United States military now if you have a tattoo. If you're in there, they'll grandfather it in. My son just went in the Marine Corps, and thank God he does not have any. And he was telling me how they were throwing people out for the tattoos. And although it's cool, and I don't care if you're a tattoo artist right now, it's all cool right now. But in 10 years or 15 years, you don't know where your life's going to take you. People change constantly. You have kids, it changes. Your opportunities that come along in life change, and you would sure hate to lose a great opportunity in life because you have a neck tattoo or an eye tattoo or piercings, walk around look like you just tripped and fell in somebody's tackle box with stuff hanging all out your mouth and all. So I'm not saying don't get tattoos. I'm just saying that if you want to put on a business suit and go out for a job interview, you can cover it all up with your collar, your sleeves, and look the part. Because although people think it's cool, corporate America does not. And if you have any intentions of climbing the corporate ladder, it's going to be more like climbing a grease pole. You're just not going to do it. So that's kind of my advice today, is dress for success. Remember, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. And think about, 10 years from now, not this week, not what you've been to school for so far, because as I said in the last video, it's never too late to change. You may decide you want to go a different route. You may meet somebody and they give you this great opportunity because they like you, and you never even thought about going into that profession, but it's an awesome, experience and chance to make some real money. So just take an old man's word, that you always want to be thinking about the future and how that future is going to affect you, how your actions are going to affect you later. The consequences and repercussions that I keep talking about in these videos, they are very real, and the world will spank your ass. You kind of want to put yourself in a position where you cannot be stereotyped. I know that's sometimes hard because of just the way we're born. I know I'm stereotyped because of my tattoos, because of my size, because of my shaved head. And I know what it's like. You may be black. Everybody says black men are stereotyped, black women are stereotyped. You may be Hispanic. Everybody says Hispanics, no matter where you're from, you're considered Mexican, and you're going to have stereotypes. So the world's going to throw you enough curveballs. Don't go out there and screw yourself by doing all this stuff. Don't do anything that's not reversible, is what I'm telling you. So hope y'all enjoy the video. Hope I've helped you. And if you have stood by and listened to all of this, feel free to write in the comments. And if you have any questions about life, things that are coming up, things that may come up, shoot me a message and I'll be glad to try to address it in my next one. So y'all have a good day. Peace out.